All right, you're good. Sweet. We're all plugged
Absolute
in.
pleasure to talk to you, Jeremy. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
listen, I grew up on your music back in the '80s. Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding On to a Hero, Holding Out for a Hero, I should say.
Yeah.
Come on, that's as iconic as it gets.
Yeah, Jim Steinman wrote the most iconic songs. I'm so blessed to have them as my own.
Let's get right into it, do a quick intro, and we'll talk all about Jim Steinman and all this stuff. Our next guest is an absolute legend. Stoked to be talking about her brand new record that came out back in February, The Best Is Yet to Come. Also, it's nice to be talking to somebody that's nice and posh and put some effort into their background and looking beautiful this morning. There she is. Absolute legend, Miss Bonnie Tyler. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm doing fantastic. It's kind of funny because, in 2021, it's so cool to see you putting out new music and being as relevant as ever, because I was talking to, before we get to this new album, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to Desmond Child, and we were talking all about...
Yeah,
we were talking all about Ava Max's latest song, Kings and Queens, which I play on my radio show pretty much like 4 times a night at this point here in Montreal.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious, what was the conversation of like her and sampling If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man? Were you involved in that, or did you just hear that melody on the radio? We're like, wait, that's my song.
Wow, to be honest, when I released If You Were a Woman, I Was a Man, that Jim produced for, it's a song given to me by Desmond Child while I was recording with Jim Steinman. And the album did very, very, very well, but that song never really took off, and it was such an incredible video to it, and Desmond was beside himself. He said, we're not going to lose this song, you know what I mean? So then he made us Sing on a Prayer for, Living on a Prayer.
Right, yeah.
Out of it, with John Bon Jovi, which was amazing. And but then this other one, I only heard it. Desmond sent it to me so I could have a listen. I hadn't heard it, And but anyway, when I was in the studio recording this new album, I asked Desmond if he had any new songs for me, And he sent me a fantastic song, Stronger Than a Man. Yeah. And I can't wait to be doing it live on stage,
Yeah, and you put it out for International Women's Day, right, that song?
Yes, well, it had really great response. The whole album's getting fantastic reviews.
Well, it sounds fantastic, album. Mitch and I, we were just listening to Dreams Are Not Enough. And
yes, we were.
As young as I look, and I come from I work in top 40 pop radio for a living. It's like my thing is about the 80s, and I love the sound of the 80s with the keyboards and the guitars and the drums and big vocals and big melodies, and it just transported me back. And it's so cool to hear music with that sort of aesthetic to it still being made, and you just have that perfect voice that makes it happen.
And the songs on there lend to that sound very much, especially like When the Lights Go Down. What a song that is. When I first heard the demo of that, it's written by Steve Womack, right? But when I heard it, I thought, my God, is this a Bruce Springsteen song? It's so fabulous. And it's got a wonderful chorus. And I just couldn't wait to get into it, in the studio.
Yeah.
And it suits me so well. And the album is a kind of throwback to the 80s with lots of guitar and,
That's what we love.
And it's powerful. My vocals can't be anything other than powerful anyway. I can't sing quite yet.
Well, that's it. When you're going in to make an album like this, are you looking for songs that have that anthemic kind of sound to it?
I do, like, there's so many, let me tell you which ones I really, when I first heard them as like you mentioned, Dreams Are Not Enough. That's got an awesome chorus in it, it's right. And the backing vocals are she is amazing, and she does, her and Ray, they do all the backing vocals in where is it? Florida. And
Oh, wow.
she's awesome. And but the songs are very powerful. And I suppose they have a lot of that sound as well, because they're produced by one of my old producers that did It's a Heartache all those years ago. In 1979, I had my first hit record in America, and it was produced also by David McKay, who produced this album, you know. But he has a lot of great songwriters under his belt, you know, that offer me the most fabulous songs. Yeah.
Right. So this album, was it recorded kind of like off the floor with a band, old school, or did you just come in and cut the vocals and all the tracks were done already?
Well, to be honest, it had to be that way, because my band, I'm always on tour with my band, right? And when we used to fly into Heathrow, because I tour so much, my boys are not the band on the record. My regular touring band, when we flew into Heathrow, they'd go home, see the wives and kids, you know, and I'd go into the studio and record, listen to some demos, which David then would knock into shape. And while I'm out on tour with the boys, he's got awesome musicians all around him there in London, and they put the track together. And by the time I come back from the next show, I go 25 minutes down the motorway to his studio and put a vocal down, you know, and it's just, you know, then they put the backing vocals on, but it was great fun working with David, because he's got his own studio at his house. And so after, he's got a great work ethic as well, you know. He starts really early in the morning, right? I don't, I'm a late bird. You know, I usually go in.
You're not getting up early in the morning at 8 a.m. and going to, you know, belt it out. Come on.
Nope.
No chance.
Let me ask you about this. It's your third album in 8 years, and a lot of the bands that come from the 70s and 80s, they've just stopped making albums. They just go out and they do the tours, they do the greatest hits, and that's all. You know, they play their 12 songs and that's it. Why is it important for you to keep it active and keep making new music? Because you listen to this new one, and it is as good as anything you've ever done. It is truly fantastic.
Honestly, I think this is probably the best album I've ever done, and
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah,
I do it because I absolutely love making new music, especially when I'm given these incredible demos. I mean, I'm not a great songwriter myself, so unfortunately, because I mean, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is. Tina Turner didn't write her songs either, you know, and but I do it to keep my shows fresh and exciting. You know, there's no money in making new records anymore. That's why people are not doing it. But the thing is, I have a huge fan base, right? And they look forward to my new album so much. And they come in their droves to listen to the live shows, because they know they're not going to get the same churned out show every year, you know. And it's of course, I always do the old classics that people are expecting, and I never get tired of singing them, you know. Total Eclipse of the Heart, Holding Out for a Hero, you know,
iconic,
all the songs. Yeah, but I love doing them. But I can't wait now to get on the stage. I've got my first show in Madrid now at the end of the month on the 30th of July, and I'll be putting 3 of the new tracks in. I'm doing Desmond's song, Stronger Than a Man.
Nice.
I'm doing The Best Is Yet to Come. We got The Bad Days on the Run, you know, now that we're all vaccinated twice.
Yeah.
And also I'll be doing When the Lights Go Down, the song that's it's like timeless rock that Springsteen or Rod Stewart would do, you know.
Yeah.
Talk to me quickly about songwriting. You just said, of course, you're not a songwriter. How is it for you to interpret other people's words and turn it into your own and make it your song and your emotion and your, vision?
Because Steve Womack really gets me, I think, I think he writes for me. And he gets me, and it's so easy to sing his songs. It's just great, But then again, I do a version on this album of the 10cc song, I'm Not in Love, right? And that is something completely out of my my comfort zone, really. But David, my producer, suggested that I give it a crack, And I said, "Oh, I don't know about that one, David. It's like, ooh, shall I?"
A little out of my comfort zone, Dave. I mean,
yeah.
But,
okay, but you need to be challenged.
Yeah, isn't that what a good producer does? It takes you out of your element and makes you do something that you didn't think you were capable of.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what happened, and I think I've made it my own. I would love to know what they think of it, the original 10cc, but it really sounds like I've made it my own. I'm very happy with it. I hope they are too, but I've only done 2 old songs on the album, and one is the old Donovan song. It's the last track on the album.
Catch the Wind.
Catch the Wind, yeah.
Gotta love Donovan, by the way.
Yeah. Well, listen, this brand new album is absolutely ridiculously good. It's called The Best Is Yet to Come. Came out back in February. It's available now wherever music is sold. Is it weird to be putting out new music? Like, in a sense that, the music business has come such a long way business-wise. It's like it's almost not worth putting out new music. Are you still putting out CDs and making vinyl records and all that stuff, or do you just stick to
they did last October. There was a special pressing of 3 vinyl CDs in different colors and everything, and it's great, that the record companies are up for this. And I love what they did with this new album cover as well, because it was done in lockdown. There was, they used a photograph that was taken 2 years before, and they
well, it looks like a drawing almost. It looks like a painting.
Yeah, he what do you call it now? Anyway, he made a kind of
they photoshopped it.
It's sort of like a drawing, like.
Well, it almost looks like an old it almost looks like an old crayon like drawing or something. It looks super 80s.
It looks very 80s, yeah. But it goes to the music so well, But no, the reason why, and the only reason why I record new material is because I love music. I love what I do, but I want to keep my shows fresh and exciting.
Yep.
The sales of the records. I mean, when it first came out, I went to number 1 on Amazon and things like that. Yep. But the sales are crap these days. You don't go by that, you just go by your sold out shows.
But I have to say, even if the sales are crap, I've been a fan of music since I was a wee kid, back 77, 78. And bands that I loved back then that aren't making new music, I've sort of lost interest in, because it's just like, well, why do I want to go to your show? It's going to be the same thing as it was last year and the year before. But the bands that I love, the Cheap Tricks and the Thunders that are making new music every couple of years, I'm super excited for. And I don't care if I'm going to hear the new songs or not. It's just nice that they're vibrant and they're trying, and that they just haven't just said, screw it, you're going to get the same old,
Yeah.
No, you're definitely not going to get the same with me anyway. Of course, everybody loves to hear the classics and
of course,
of course they do. But I think they really appreciate the fact that I'm still enjoying myself. And age it's just a number,
It really is.
If you really enjoy what you do as much as I do.
Let me ask you this. Last week, Jeremy and I were talking to Joe Elliott of Def Leppard, and they tried to record their Hysteria album with Jim Steinman, and it didn't work. You, of course, recorded with Jim Steinman, and it did work. Talk to me about working with Jim and why that relationship with you artistically just work. I mean, you look at Total Eclipse of the Heart, smash hit. I mean, you can't say that it didn't work. So why did you and Jim work?
Well, maybe because I had a great band behind me, right? I had some of the E Street band. I had Max Weinberg on drums, Roy Bitton on keyboards. I had Meatloaf's bass player, Steve Buslow.
Yeah.
I had Rick Derringer on guitar.
Legend.
On some of the tracks, and another, I had a wonderful band that could really play their instruments. From what I've heard, Matt Langer played nearly all the instruments on their very successful album. I love that album, by the way. If I had to choose what album to ever have on an island, that would be one of them that I absolutely love.
Now I'm waiting for the Bonnie Tyler Def Leppard cover album. That's what I'm waiting for now. I can see you doing Hysteria. I think your voice would be great on that.
Bonnie doing Pour Some Sugar on Me? Come on.
Oh, that would be... Actually, you know what? Those vocals would work. Yes. That would work. But okay, other than the musicians, though, what was it about Jim where he just understood you?
Well, to be honest, I understood him.
Okay.
It wasn't that because I wanted to work with Jim Steinman, right? And when I told my record company I wanted to do that, please get in touch with Jim Steinman. I want to work with him. And they said, oh, come on, Bonnie, you got to be kidding. Jim Steinman? He's never going to work with you, And I said, what do you mean? Ask him.
Yeah.
You're asking me what do I want to work with. I'm telling you I want to work with who produces and writes for Meatloaf. And they said, oh, it's a long shot. I said, well, at least ask him for me, So they did. They asked him. And Jim said that at first he thought the same thing. Why? But then he thought he likes a challenge, And but the thing is, with Jim Steinman, the reason why I wanted to work with him, I love that bombastic kind of production,
that theatrical kind of approach that he had with Meatloaf's music.
I love that. So I'm not going to tell Jim Steinman what to do. I'm just going to let him, get on with it and do the tracks. Not the tracks. We did the tracks live in the studio. The way Jim Steinman worked was the boys were in the studio. I was in the booth. You can imagine how wonderful it was for me to work with Max Weinberg and Roy Bitton, and
that's the cream of the crop of musicians.
And I was a young girl from Wales, and I'm in the studio with Bruce Springsteen's,
band.
Mind blowing.
and we used to do the song live, tape to tape, 9 different takes. This is the way Jim worked,
Wow.
You do 9 different takes, and at the end of the evening, he'd take the reel-to-reel home with him to listen to see which had the best feel to start laying it up a bit, And he'd give me a cassette of the 9 different takes, and I'd go back to my hotel room with a little cassette player with a built-in speaker on it, and listen to these 9 different takes. And I picked the same one that Jim picked. When we went back in the studio the next day, I said, I like take 2. And so did he. And we built on take 2 then,
Right.
But I was singing live with the musicians.
Wow. So that was live cut off the floor. That's cool.
Yeah, but there was a lot of overdubs and everything afterwards, and layers and layers of different drop-ins and things, of the backing vocals
in here and there, and
yeah.
Nice. It's funny little tidbit. You chose mix 2. Billie Jean from Michael Jackson. They did like 80 different mixes, and they ended up settling on mix 2. So
really, didn't know that.
That's the way to do it.
I only know that I know that Billie Jean was nominated for the best video, and so was I with Total Eclipse of the Heart. And Billie Jean won it. Yeah. You know.
You're like, damn, Michael, I should have got that.
You mentioned Mutt Lange before. Did you ever want to work with him? And yeah, and did you ever enjoyed his approach of really dissecting songs, or do you prefer that? Let's just go in, let's do 9 takes, off we go.
I don't know how he works, Mutt Lange. I only love the productions that he's done, you know. I mean, Bryan Adams, when he was with Mutt Lange, he was something else, you know.
Absolutely.
Since he's not with Mutt Lange, he's not as good as he, you know.
But his new album is being produced by Mutt Lange right now, so they're back together.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Don't know. It's coming out next year, later this year.
Probably later this year or something, but they're in Vancouver apparently doing the tracking, and Mutt's back co-writing and producing. And so everybody thought Mutt was retired, but he's coming out of the woodwork. It's great.
That's going to be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll look out for that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. It's funny, we just because we're running out of time really quickly talking about Jim Steinman. We spoke to Joe Elliott, and he said that Jim basically said, okay, you know, we do one take and be like, okay, that's good enough. And we were like, no, that's not good. Mutt would make us do it 100 times. That's a terrible take. So Jim did 9 different. So it's I guess it depends on the artist and how the producer approach him.
To be honest, I don't think he liked them. He didn't think they were good. But you know, what do I know? I only can go by little stories I've heard. You know.
Did you ever talk to Jim Steinman about his time with Def Leppard?
Yeah, we heard quite a few stories about it.
Oh, do tell us one or two. We have time.
Yeah.
No, I can't really remember what he said, apart from, you know.
They're awesome.
He wasn't that impressed. I mean, I thought they were wonderful. I mean, that album, Hysteria, that they ended up doing with Mutt Lange. I mean, that was never off in my car, you know.
Right.
What
sounds massive.
What an album to drive to. I've had a few pull-ins by the police.
That's right. It'll get you excitable, that's for sure. Let me just quickly ask you this. Holding Out for a Hero was, of course, on the soundtrack for Footloose. How important was it for you to have songs on soundtracks? Because there's a lot of, you know, Kenny Loggins, yourself, those soundtracks are just important, right?
Yeah, they were. I mean, but it depends on the song. I don't do anything that comes my way. In fact, I turned down a James Bond theme, and
wow.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was given a James Bond theme, it was like, wow, you know, everybody's dream.
Yeah.
Until I played the demo, and it was like, oh. So disappointing, you know. I just couldn't do it. I just said, I just don't like the song, you know. Have we got
this is absolute shite.
Yeah, it was. So I turned it down.
What movie was that for? Which 007?
Well, you know what? That song, I was right in turning it down, because that song was never a hit for anybody. So I can't remember. I think it was Never Say Never, but I can't remember what the song was called. Wow. But it was a terrible song. And in the end, they did it with someone as a duet with somebody.
Right.
I don't even know who they were, but it was rubbish, crap. Yeah.
I can't even remember. I'm trying to think like who could have. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's funny because I'm rewatching all of the 007s right now, and I'm up to The Spy Who Loved Me. So
slowly but surely
getting there. Anyways, well, Bonnie Tyler's brand new record, The Best Is Yet to Come, which is also the title of a Bryan Adams album.
Not an album, a song. A Bryan Adams song. Bryan Adams song. Yeah. On Cuts Like a Knife. Yes, Best Is Yet to Come is on Cuts Like a Knife. Yeah, it's a great song. You should have covered it for this album. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that album.
For the reissue, do it as a Japanese bonus track for the remaster.
Hey, let me just finish on this. Since it is called The Best Is Yet to Come, does that suggest that there are more albums to come? You're not done quite yet?
No, what it means is keep listening to this album because it just gets better and better and better. But that was before COVID, and now it's like the best is yet to come because we've had 2 vaccinations.
Yep.
We've got the bad days on the run.
Yep. There you go. Well, the best is yet to come. Bonnie Tyler, it's available now wherever music is sold, and catch her on the road as well. Tour dates. She's coming to see you. Make sure you go and get the deets online. Follow her on Instagram. She's great on the socials, too. Bonnie, this was absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for chatting, and this was great to meet you. Thank you so much.
BonnieTyler.com, everybody.
Absolutely.
BonnieTyler.com. There you go.
Yeah.
Merci.
All right. Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you.
That was great.
Great talking to you both. Bye-bye.
Cheers now.
Bye. There we go.
That was good.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, she's gone. But that was great. What a fun lady. Can I say
awesome.
that? Yeah.
She was great.
Now, and by the way, she made let me do one quick correction. She said that If You Were a Woman became Living on a Prayer. It actually became You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to circle back around to that, but I didn't get a chance.